This year's March for Life in the nation's capital was a smashing success, despite attempts by the ridiculous mayor of Washington, D.C. to shut it all down with absurd COVID restrictions. Tens of thousands of pro-life marchers turned out in a spirit of joyful optimism and anticipation that Roe v. Wade will soon be overturned. But the truth is that after Roe v. Wade comes to an end, abortions will continue and laws will still be fought state by state. The day after the march, I attended the Pro-Life Summit in D.C., sponsored by Students for Life, where I had the privilege of meeting with some of the unsung heroes of the pro-life movement. And they know that in many ways, their work will have only begun if Roe v. Wade is indeed overturned in June. And here's what I mean. One of the biggest threats now is the abortion pill. The Biden regime has removed the in-person dispensing requirement, so now a woman of practically any age can get an abortion pill in the mail. And the result is that abortions have actually increased in the past 2 years. One of those unsung heroes that I met at the summit is a young woman who helps women in crisis who change their mind after taking the abortion pill.
So the women that I'm talking to on the abortion pill rescue network definitely are talking about how they regret it. Almost instantly they'll take the pill and they just say that they were overcome with regret and just didn't know that they were going to feel this way. I had one woman tell me, and she said, I just wish somebody had told me I was going to feel so terrible after this. And I was like, I wish someone had told you also, because it is, unfortunately, just these women don't realize all the negative emotional effects that oftentimes follow taking that first pill.
This is something the abortion industry doesn't want women to know about, that this can actually be reversed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I'm really sad that they don't explain that, because again, these women, they should be required to tell them that there's another option. But yeah, oftentimes women just have no idea that there's even another, that they have another choice even after they've taken the first abortion pill.
Angela, how is it reversed? Because it sounds like, okay, they've taken this. It seems like you've got to get to them pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically how it works is that the chemical abortion process is usually like a 2-pill process. The first pill is a medicine called mifepristone. That essentially what it does is it blocks progesterone in the woman's body, so it creates a very inhospitable environment for the baby. So what we do is we intervene right in that middle process between the first pill and the second pill, and we give them progesterone. Progesterone is just a hormone that what it does is it helps to overwhelm those receptors, so the woman still has the medicine or the hormone, so the baby has a chance to survive. So ideally we like to get them right in between that window before the 72 hours after that first medicine that they've taken.
Tell us a little bit, how many women have been helped by this? How many babies have been saved?
Yeah, I love that question. So we've seen over 3,000 babies that have been born after this reversal process, which is just awesome. And it's so cool to see the effects of it, that so many women are able to save their babies and have a second chance.
And that is the only email address you need to remember if you or someone you know needs help: abortionpillreversal.com. Women must know that hope remains after taking that first pill, and thank God to those at Heartbeat International who offer this life-saving service. Now, another great lady we met at the summit is Kathy Humbarger, who is the founder of a pro-life organization called Reprotection. And Kathy's mission is to just simply close abortion facilities. And she does that by documenting ways in which abortionists violate state health and medical codes. Kathy and her friends were responsible for exposing the crimes being committed by the notorious Ulrich Klopfer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and closing his murderous business down for good. And thanks to Kathy and the outstanding work being done by Reprotection, fewer babies are being killed each and every day.
I was the executive director of Right to Life of Northeast Indiana, and my office was right next door to the notorious abortionist Ulrich Klopfer. He's the one that after his death, the bodies of the aborted babies were found stashed in his garage and also in the trunk of his abandoned car. So every procedure day, which was Thursday morning, I'd look out my window and see the women go into the abortion facility and a couple of hours later stumble out. And I thought to myself, why is it that he doesn't have a wheelchair ramp? My church has a wheelchair ramp, and as I did investigation, sex clubs have wheelchair ramps. Why not the abortionist? So that's what started this whole thing. Ultimately, we filed 2,000 complaints against abortionist Klopfer, and we were able to shut down his 3 awful facilities in Indiana, and also the medical licensing board suspended his license. So David B. Wright, I'm sure you know David, came to me and said, how'd you do that? And I said, I don't know. So he helped us work through what we really did have a strategy, we just didn't know it. And so he encouraged us to start Reprotection, which is reproduction and protection, so reprotection, and currently serves as the chairman of the board. So we are just seeing success coming right and left. We're involved in several investigations, 2 that we know have closed down abortion facilities, and we're just looking for what God has in store for us. As my friend Father Frank Pavone told me early on in this process, it's impossible to practice vice virtuously. And what is the definition of vice? Abortions.
Now, one of the most creative and successful pro-life warriors we ran into was a young man named Anton Kritchik. This is just fantastic. Anton started an online coffee business called 7 Weeks Coffee, and he donates 10% of all of his earnings to pay for ultrasounds at pregnancy resource centers.
We're here to meet tangible needs at pregnancy care centers, specifically their ultrasound services. We do that by donating 10% of every sale, which is a significant part of our profits, and we identify specific centers we can support. So we supported Mosaic in Virginia by sending them a check because they're opening up a new center. We supported an ICU mobile unit. They parked their bus right outside of a Planned Parenthood, and we sent a check for $635 to them in the first month.
Can you talk about the power of an ultrasound?
Ultrasound has been proven as the #1 way that when a mom hears their child's heartbeat, they choose life for that child. Talking to Mosaic in Virginia, they say that's the most powerful way to help a family, a parent, and a mother, both a father and a mother, choose life for their child, is hearing that first ultrasound. Yeah.
Well, how's the business going?
It's been totally amazing. I started this with the idea, and we didn't have one customer lined up. But in 2.5 months, we have sold $30,000 worth of coffee. We'll be donating over $3,000 in our first 2.5 months to over 4 organizations. So it's clearly having a tangible impact already. No one's doing we're not asking for donations. We're saying if you drink coffee, and you drink coffee through us, you are going to be able to support life and let your coffee serve a greater purpose. It's truly amazing.
This is just awesome. Go get yourself some pro-life coffee at 7weekscoffee.com, and don't forget that the pro-life movement needs you. I pray that you have been inspired by these unsung heroes, and will continue to pray for a culture of life no matter what happens at the Supreme Court this summer. The culture of death is all around us, and it is our honor here at LifeSite News to be in the battle with you. I'm Jim Hale.